Riot podcast time, everybody.
And I will tell you, the Riot is not tired, in case you wondered.
Man, so much yawning going on in here, right?
Your eyes are a little glassy, too. I think that last yawn almost did
Really
you
took
in.
it out of me. Really took it out of me. So, hey, long podcast today, but I don't know if it's because it's good.
Or if we're just, again, so tired, we're just talking about anything.
Just whatever.
For really long amounts of time.
Whatever you guys got. We got some more Facebook privacy allegations that have come up because of a New York Times article. It's one of those things where it's not that interesting, but it's probably important.
It's worth knowing.
So we put it in there. We've got the final, we think, end of the story about that 30-year-old guy in his parents' house. And, man, when you find out
what happened on Friday,
we couldn't let it go. We had to go one more time. We talk about me looking for video games to play.
And we introduce you to Little.
Oh, don't say it.
Let it come naturally.
Let it come out in the podcast.
Okay.
But Nikki and I have got a new favorite little something.
A new word for you.
A little something.
A new phrase.
We also get into the return of bare knuckle boxing, Chicago urination, and probably the most important thing, the Christmas room.
Oh, that's right. What would you do when you hear this story?
The Christmas room.
And we never thought we'd say Mariah Carey. So.
Yeah, well, you know what? Like it or not, her name and Christmas do share a certain...
That's true. And normally just when we talk about how House of Heroes, one of the bands we love, covered one of her Christmas songs.
Her Christmas song is still the most downloaded ringtone of all time.
Not surprised.
It's a weird
fact
distinction,
to know. That's
but
okay.
It's true.
Well, enjoy the podcast. Don't forget to check out RadioU Riot on Facebook. You can always send us stories or tweet at RadioU, or even join us on Instagram at RadioU Official if you want to send us something. We'd love to hear from you. More yawning.
They didn't have to know.
Over there.
They didn't have to know.
Well, just I knew. So
and
I have to tell everybody knows. That's how I'm most comfortable.
I'm not ashamed.
Have
I don't
a
even
wonderful
care.
day.
Bye.
The Worst of the Riot box set is now available nowhere because we know you wouldn't want it anyway. It's The Worst of the Riot on Radio U.
Go ahead and take a look at your smartphone. It is selling you out to everybody.
I think deep down we already know this.
Especially if you've got a Facebook profile or you have Facebook on your phone. Oh, it's so much worse than you think. So yesterday, the New York Times published an article about Facebook and the fact that even though they've come out and they're like, hey, guys, look, we're serious about your privacy.
He loves the ads they've been doing.
We don't actually. Oh my gosh! Don't get me started.
He's so
I had
mad.
I had one pop up on some site the other day where I've got YouTube Red, so I don't see YouTube commercials. But I was doing streaming video. I don't even know where it was on a web page, and there was that 30-second Facebook ad, and I was like, "Man, Facebook, don't talk to me." They're like, the thing that ruined Facebook was fake news. Like,
Technically, it's kind of you guys.
There's some real news that might have ruined it too, but I don't know. So, there was the big scandal about your personal data with Cambridge Analytica and all that stuff. But according to this report in the New York Times, they're like, hey, no, it's not just that. Let's talk about the people that make your phones. Let's talk about Apple. Let's talk about Samsung. Let's talk about Amazon, BlackBerry, Microsoft. They say that Facebook was allowing your device manufacturer access to your data and also the data of friends. So let's say, for example, you had a friend that had locked up their personal information,
Sure.
but because they were friends with you, your device manufacturer was able to get a look at their data, even though they might have said, no, I want this to be private. Now, Facebook says, no.
But that's what they were doing, where apps had the access through Facebook to get to your friends' information if their stuff was private, too. So it's the same exact thing.
Facebook says, look, it's not the same, okay, guys?
It's like, yes, it is. It sounds like the same.
So what they say is that to a certain extent, they're right. Like what Cambridge Analytica is doing and what your device gets a look at is not necessarily the same, but it is still one of those things where
everybody's getting all your information and all your friends' information, too.
Yeah, it's out there. So this is one more thing to be aware of that, hey, Facebook does not take really good care of your information.
I don't think anybody does.
My thought is, in general, I don't think, aside from Messenger, which might be like, maybe I wouldn't want my Messenger data to be private. Facebook, I think
Everybody already has it.
Yeah.
Phone manufacturer does. Apple has all my stuff.
I mean, I spend my days oversharing. So, whatever you're going to get from Facebook, it's like, yeah, okay. That sounds about right.
It's just how it is. And yes, that can be sad, but it also, I don't think we all need to get as worked up about it since they all have it anyways.
Yeah. Or we should all just leave Facebook. That's what I'd like to see. What if the government just came in and they were like, all right, we're shutting it down?
I don't think it stops there, though. So I don't think we can say that. That's a threat that then eventually goes down to, then I don't think I should have my phone. It will go down to that.
If you're actually concerned about privacy,
then
your
you don't have
smartphone's
it.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're pretty much going to have to unplug because they're using you.
And then that's where it suddenly becomes just you wanting to do that.
That's where you guys can't see it, but Nikki actually I saw a trickle of sweat.
No, it's like, no one's saying do that yet.
I can't, no.
But if you're all up about this, that would be the only thing. Yeah. And then we could tell because you'd have a flip phone. Be like, hey, you mad about that stuff?
Yeah, I'm mad, bro.
And you did something about it.
Yeah, which is
good.
something that the rest of us aren't going to do. Let's just outrage a little bit. I mean, it is Monday. Have you been angry yet this morning? Here's the thing.
All I can commit to. That's it.
You remember that time you started your morning with a gas station breakfast sandwich and immediately regretted it? Yeah, it's like that. The Riot. RadioU.
Now, last week, we got a chance, was it Friday, to catch up with Jeremy from Crusoe?
Yes, that's posted if you missed it through RadioU Riot on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. And though we talked with him by phone, you can actually watch him during the interview.
You can. I kind of want to call him back today and see how his garage sale went.
Over the weekend.
Yeah. So one of the things that came up in that conversation is that they do all their recording in Portland, Maine. And that got me thinking about New England. Mm-hmm. And then I saw this, Nikki. Governor Phil Scott of the state of Vermont signed a new law to pay workers to move there and work remotely. So the idea is that you could, now there's not a ton of money available, so only so many people are going to get this, but they're offering $10,000 for people from out of state to move into state.
Into Vermont.
Right. Don't get a job in Vermont.
But
that's what I love. You can't get a job locally. That doesn't count. You move to Vermont, but you still work
somewhere
for a
out
company
of state,
that's in another state.
Which is possible if your job allows that.
So, and they'll give you a $10,000 bonus.
Like a moving expense?
I guess.
They basically just want you to spend money in Vermont, but
they want to tax the money that you're making.
I think maybe they realize then that, it might not be the best job market there. Like, no, don't bother getting a job here, but you can just come even if you work somewhere else.
Well, I'll tell you this. The photos that I'm looking at of Vermont right now are stunning.
Yeah.
Just stunning, especially, when it comes to the fall foliage.
But I've never felt the urge to go to Vermont, let alone live there.
Nikki, they don't pay people $10,000 to move somewhere that a lot of people have the urge.
Isn't it just Alaska that pays people to move there?
Not anymore.
They don't anymore?
Now Vermont does.
Okay.
So in 2019, they've allocated $125,000, which...
That's not a lot. In government money?
Right. And the thing is, if you're paying people $10,000, do you guys understand that doesn't divide up evenly with $125,000? So somebody's screwed.
Maybe you get up to $10,000 and not everybody gets that.
So you're saying that maybe there's a
fluctuation with the amount.
So they also say that the cap goes up to $250,000, but then it drops back down to $125,000.
Well, we can do this kind of anywhere. I just don't feel the need to go to Vermont.
So apparently it's not just a check. It really is relocation costs, computer equipment, software, internet access, and co-working memberships. I don't know what that means, but I love the idea. I'm game for it. Let's go to Vermont, Nikki. If they'll give us...
We say that now, but they're not offering this promotion into wintertime, and I'm just a little concerned. Jeremy even mentioned how harsh it can be in the winter.
Harsh winters. He said that. But he also said the seafood was really good.
It's not enough.
That's absolutely not enough for me because I hate seafood.
But in case you're like, I want to move somewhere, they want you to come here or there.
I keep wanting to visit New England. I've become interested in this idea of a fall trip to New England to see all the colors in the trees, which makes me feel like an old man, but it sounds great. No. Look, you're drinking a pumpkin spice latte,
True.
maybe a peppermint mocha.
Driving around in a rental, like a nice car.
Music that you love, beautiful scenery. I think it sounds
Lots of car snacks.
fantastic. And you're just, I like the
Praying
idea.
to get out of the car soon so you don't get car sick anymore. Looking at the foliage.
I don't have that problem.
I
so
do.
I'm good.
Unless I'm driving.
I'm good. So
You will not want to see the foliage.
You can drive. Like, I'll put my feet up and drink my mocha.
And just have a good time enjoying Vermont,
I think it sounds great.
the state that'll pay you
I think it sounds great. Let's
to
do it.
live there.
I mean, if they're going to pay for the equipment, Nikki, we can just remote broadcast from there.
Now, as long as I have to turn in receipts, because if I already have the equipment, I still just want the money.
We're going to buy new equipment.
Okay.
And then we'll sell the old one.
Okay. Good call. We'll find a workaround.
The worst of the riot. Proof that you're already living in that dark future dystopia. Radio U.
Now, I haven't watched it yet, but I want you to know, Nikki, that my great love of YouTube continues to send me further and further down the rabbit hole.
Last week, he talked about getting into boat documentaries from wars of past.
Oh, yeah. You also know that I do have a great love. Well, I think that is, I really overstated it there. Really overstated it. But
You have an appreciation?
I have an appreciation for fan films.
Yeah.
And I saw one over the weekend that might be just for you.
What type of fan film is it?
It's called Truly Outrageous.
So Gem and the Holograms?
It's a Gem fan film. And here's what's amazing. It's not short. It is 30 minutes
long?
30.
I never saw, let's see, Gem I think is on Netflix maybe, but I never caught the movie that they made a couple of years ago because people said it was really bad.
Well, I'll tell you what, this fan film's not looking a whole lot better, but
But it's something.
I saw a lot of, and by a lot of, I mean a few bits of internet chatter over the weekend where people are like, this was the Gem movie I wish they had made.
The other one was so bad.
Well, the Gem movie they made a couple years ago only just lightly tied into the brand.
And they said eventually it just wasn't even like it at all.
It was more like an American Idol, kind of The Voice, because there was a contest involved and something, whatever. But
I'm just scrubbing through, and I'm just
Sure.
going to say the quality or, I'm just not sure it's got the look that I like in most movies, but it looks fun, I guess. Everybody's got wigs and colorful eyeshadow on.
why does the Baroness from G.I. Joe show up in this fan film?
Is that something from Gem?
Looks like
Oh,
maybe.
yeah, that is.
No,
Why is that person there?
Well, but the thing is, like, they're both Hasbro properties.
Oh, so maybe
Yeah.
that's the villain.
Yeah. Okay. Well, whatever. It's fine. It's there, Nikki, for you.
Thanks.
I haven't watched it yet. You always talk about how you feel like they never make anything for you. The streaming services never have a show for you. They never have a thing for you.
Yeah, there's a fan film for Gem, a show that I watched on Netflix and I guess appreciated.
The further that I scroll through this,
It's
the
weird.
weirder it gets. Like it started out just looking Gem weird, but now it's getting way, way weirder the more I scroll
30
through.
minutes might be too much.
Yeah. Well,
But it's there if you guys want to scrub through it too.
no, I feel like maybe I should watch this later.
Just to see what it's to your playlist.
I feel so. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff. I'll tell you what, if you think your Netflix queue is long, you should come see my YouTube watch later queue.
Just make a new playlist.
Yes.
Just hide it there.
No, really, I'm totally going to watch it.
Remember when we said things couldn't get any worse? We were wrong. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
Well, I'm sorry, but we have to. Okay? We have to talk about Michael Rotondo again.
Oh, yes! Yes, we do! Because on Friday, it was the most perfect thing ever.
So we have talked about him.
You're like, who's that?
Michael Rotondo is the 30-year-old guy living in his parents' basement who was evicted by his parents because of his refusal to contribute in any way to the household via chores, finances, etc. He was involved in a lawsuit with Best Buy over what he says was wrongful dismissal.
Because he worked there but didn't want to work on like a Saturday or something.
He refused to work Saturdays. They fired him, and he's like, well, this is it. I'm suing them. He was at least in the second year of that lawsuit, and he couldn't get a job because it would affect the lawsuit. He also couldn't get a job because he says it would affect the custody case he was trying to
With
get
his
custody of
child?
his 8-year-old son.
Well, basically, they said he was trying to get custody, and like his family would not help him by it's not sponsoring, but it's where they would stand up and say, "No, we are with him."
Okay.
They wouldn't help him with that case, and so that started this lawsuit into getting him out of the house.
Yeah. It's a
And
problem.
it just goes from layer to layer. At first, you're like, oh, okay, well, you just don't quite understand this man. But then there's another layer of the onion, and it gets worse. And you're like, man, this guy something about him drives me crazy.
And Nikki and I have said that there's nothing wrong with multi-generational living.
That's perfectly fine.
You move in with your parents, you're part of the household, you're helping, et cetera, fine, great. I think that we could learn to live like that, and it wouldn't be such a bad thing.
But he must have been bad if they wanted him out, and he just would not leave.
He wouldn't leave. So he's moving out.
Friday was the end date. He had to be out court ordered, and so the media was there to see him move out his stuff.
So, and we talked about that on Friday, but this is where it gets really good. Friday night, when all the hoopla is over, he apparently forgot some things at his parents' house, and he wanted them back. And yes, they're in the basement. And so the dad was like, nope, you're not coming back in here. You tell me what you want. I will get it for you and bring it out. And he was like, well, okay. So he called the police.
It's not the best part. The best part is coming.
Because he had Legos.
There it is.
His Legos were in the basement, and his dad wouldn't let him get his Legos out.
He had some missing Legos.
Right. So he'd already gotten some.
But he was missing a few, and he felt like his dad still had them down there in the basement.
Mm-hmm. So the Legos were found after the police arrived. So the police came and forced them to let the guy in the basement to get his Legos.
I don't see this as ever being mended, between. They said, the parents and him would never talk. They couldn't talk.
Well, it feels like if you were writing this story, if we were doing a parody or writing something up, you couldn't have had a better ending. You couldn't have written a better ending.
Legos in the again, nothing wrong with Legos.
My Legos were in the basement. My dad won't let me have them.
That's how it sounds. This is what's the one show, a Dr. Phil show?
It's perfect.
This whole thing. It's just
That's
crazy.
What they need. These guys need to get on Dr. Phil.
I'm sure they've been trying to get them on there.
They need to get on Dr. Phil. I'm sure he could fix everything, Nikki. Instead, he ended up on Alex Jones' InfoWars. What did that look like?
I don't know.
What on this earth would Alex Jones, whatever, what would this guy have to talk about? What? I'm sure it's out there, but I'm not giving them any clicks.
Well, the 30-year-old think when you watch interviews and stuff, he thinks he's really been wronged and he's been portrayed in a bad way.
Right.
Can't find a job even though he's been offered jobs.
And can't find his Legos.
Can't find his Legos, but I still feel for the parents on this one. This must be a good week for them. This is our first week without him in the house. They're happy.
No, you know what? They probably need some time to decompress before they're actually happy.
And I'm sure the media is still there. What do you feel like, guys?
Hey, he's gone. How do you feel?
Now that he has his Legos and the cops are gone.
Hey, I was able to put my feet up this week. It's great.
Where did he go? That's the other question, too.
Leftovers from the most disgusting meal you've ever had. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
So,
yes.
Everybody. You know what, Nikki? I found myself this weekend. It's a little embarrassing to talk about, but I think that self-disclosing is what we do.
That's fine. It's healing in a way.
So over the weekend, I finished God of War for my PlayStation.
The game, yeah.
Yes, and I had a great time with it. And then I felt very much like the proverbial, you see the picture of the girl who's in her closet surrounded by clothes, and she's like, I have nothing to wear.
Really, there's lots of choices.
There's choices everywhere.
Yeah.
That was me. I was sitting in my game library, and I just found
both
myself
digital and physical.
I just have nothing to play.
But you have so many games.
I know, and I really tried. I multiple games, trying and whatever. And here's what I feel like I've discovered is wrong. Is that God of War has a system in it, and a lot of games have this, where it's a loot system. So what happens is you fight a bunch of guys, get some loot. Maybe you get good stuff, maybe you don't. You sell the stuff you don't use, and if you get something good, you equip it. And you just keep doing that over and over again. So after a while, I was like, I want some loot, guys.
Or you're not selling it since you're done with the game?
What? No. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
But like I'm saying, I was looking for a game where I could get back in the loot system where
sure.
like play
you
a
got
little
that
bit,
fix every day.
get new equipment. It's like that dopamine hit. It's like my brain is like, ooh, shiny things. Play some more. Ooh, shiny things.
Not only a new game, but you'd get new items.
And I found myself, I'm talking about in-game items.
Yeah,
I'm not
I
talking
gotcha.
about like real world stuff. And on Saturday, I was like, man, I need another hit of that dopamine, guys. I need some new gear. I need some new loot.
Did you find a game?
I just went back to playing Diablo for a while. I know. I tried. I had a few people suggest Dark Souls 3.
Oh, that sounds lovely, doesn't it?
You know, none of these have nice names, do they?
Diablo, Dark Souls 3, not just 1 and 2.
Dark Souls 3 came in a humble bundle. That's a game for people that hate themselves. That's as near as I can figure it. Because it is
You mean it's intense?
I spent, first 10 minutes, game tells you nothing. It just starts.
Yeah.
So I'm wandering around, fighting stuff, and then I walk into this one room, and there's something that's 3 times taller than me with a sword that's twice as big as me, and he hits me with it once, and I'm dead. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I need to dodge. So you come back, and you're like, run in, and I dodge, and he's like, I'll just swing it this way. Dead. Dead. And that's what people always talk about, these Dark Souls games. You just die a bunch. And I was like, you know what? I'm good.
Done with that?
I feel like I get enough abuse at work. Like, I don't need this kind of abuse at home.
Every time you walk in the door, dead.
Dead.
Every time.
Well, we're talking about my hopes and dreams.
Sure.
Dead.
Dash them dead.
Dead. Dead.
So, no on that. So,
Yeah.
no on Dead Souls or you're
It's
back.
Dark Souls.
Dark Souls. Same thing. Same thing.
No, it is. No,
I'm sure that's a game.
I think Dead Souls will get announced at E3 this weekend. So, I mean,
Spoiler alert on the upcoming game.
you got to get it right.
That's the expansion pack available.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the loot
Oh my gosh,
grind.
if there was the Dead Souls expansion pack for Dark Souls. It's just awful.
It's bad.
So nothing else? Or are you looking for ideas?
If anybody wants to text me an idea, that's great. I just want you to know that I've probably played everything.
But he wants to just be reminded if it's a game that provides
Loot!
the
I
loot.
need loot, Nikki! Loot! Upgrades and loot! I need to keep the cycle going. I need it. I need it.
Okay. All right. Now you can always start back again with God of War.
Start at the beginning? I've already seen the loot. I need new loot. Loot I haven't seen yet.
Easy there. Take a sip.
I tried to play the Horizon Zero Dawn DLC that I had, and I was just like,
You have so much.
I know. I just don't
you
have a
have
thing to
enough.
wear. I just don't have a thing to wear.
You've got to hand it to Obadiah and Nikki. Anyone can eat junk food all day,
Where's my food?
but they've figured out a way to get paid for it. The Riot on Radio U.
I confess my problems. You guys bring answers. And I want you to know I appreciate you. Tim says, how about Fallout 4? He texted, by the way, and you can too. 8772 Radio U. He's also recommending State of Decay 2. He says
You
it
were
has.
talking about that not too long ago, right?
I was. And if you've got an Xbox, you can sign up for the Microsoft Game Pass thing, and they'll give you a free week of that. And you could play State of Decay 2 that way. Ryan says you might want to go into cryo sleep for a while, then a plethora of new games come out.
If not, you might
It's a
just
great
want to
idea.
maybe not cryogenically, but just a little step back
What, take
or
a break?
something. Yeah, just a break.
But I need the loot, Nikki.
Why don't you catch up on movies or TV shows or something?
Ryan also had suggested a book, which I did over the
What
weekend.
game is that?
Is that
What platform is that
is it
on?
interactive?
He reads plenty.
I picked up Iron Gold this weekend, the 4th book in the Red Rising series.
Sounds like loot, too.
It does, doesn't it?
Iron
What
gold.
kind of sword is that? It's an iron gold sword. So it's cool. Let's see. This person whose name I don't have recommended Warframe and Dark Souls Remastered. See, we're back on the Dark Souls, Nikki. Jay in Pickerington recommended perhaps Star Trek Online.
Oh, the game? There's a game?
There's a game.
There's a game.
Sam hit me up on Twitter. He said that he backed the Kickstarter for, where did it go? Not Mech, what do you call it? Mech, Battletech. There you go.
Mech sounds like, yeah, it's tech. It's fine.
It's close,
You're
right?
close enough.
Whatever. It's fine. Let's see. Anybody else that let's see. Mackenzie said Dishonored, but that's not a loot game.
And that's
so-
all he wants right now.
Yeah, got to get that loot, Nikki. Oh, and I'm the real Snorlax says Bloodborne, but Bloodborne is like Demon Souls, like Dark Souls.
Dark Souls, not Dead. Dead souls?
Dead, right? Dead.
Something. It's
dead,
too much.
Dead, dark, evil. The grim dark.
In case you missed it, Obi finally finished God of War.
He was just looking for something else
over
to
the
play.
weekend, but now he's really into loot gaming, and that's what he needs for his next hit. I'm worried too.
Here's somebody else that says Detroit Become Human. That's the
Detroit game?
That just came out.
Yeah.
For PlayStation 4.
A couple of people have recommended that one.
Yeah. So that's something I could do, but is there loot? They have loot in it. Can I get, I'll have some blues and purples, but I could get to golds, maybe the oranges, go from rare to legendary.
I'm thinking
legendary
take a break might be good.
Step back.
Just 1 week. What if you just took 1 week off? At least from loot gaming.
Nikki, here's the thing.
Just one.
Here's the thing. I almost never play during the week.
Oh, so it's just the weekends that are the problem?
It's basically a lot of times during the week, there's no time for it. But on Saturday morning, you get up.
You get your cup of coffee, don't you? There it is.
You brew some coffee.
There it is. Have a breakfast with it.
And you show Balder who's boss.
Okay, so that's your time.
So, but it's good. You're right. I've got the next few days to detox. I got to get off of this stuff and let my brain settle down.
Or go completely on the other side. Pick a Nintendo game or something fun and very not dark.
I think the other side might be rock climbing.
No, we're not talking outside, though. Still in the video game world.
Okay. I did think about going back to Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, why you do that?
Haven't played that in a while.
Get some crescent moons.
Yeah, got to get those moons.
Oh, there it is again.
The part that keeps me up at night, we paid them for this. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
So, you've been saying to yourself, I need to get out there and do a 5K and show people the things that people say about me are not true.
Sure, you want to get out there and do something.
I'm fit, I'm active, I'm a weekend warrior, etc., etc. But 5K, that's a lot of Ks.
Isn't that normally the shortest length,
kind of the
though?
entry level.
Yeah, I feel like it is.
Entry level kind of thing.
An actual race that's set up, not just you going out and running.
5K comes out to 3.1 miles. But how about this? What about a 1K? That's what's happening in Seattle this weekend. Saturday at Magnuson Park, they're having a 1K. This 1K starts with a large beer garden at the start line. And then...
So it's an impaired 1K.
Every 250 meters, they have a donut stop.
Yeah.
So that means that there are 4 donut stops on the course. So if you need to refill, and it's a circuit course, so you're going to come back and you're back at the beer garden again.
Okay.
So
now, are they drinking during it, or is it just that's just the location?
I don't know the answer to that.
Is that actually a garden?
I don't
know what it is.
I don't know. I have gone to other races where they're like, we have a beer garden. I don't
know what it's supposed to be.
I think you just go get beer, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that it?
In a garden.
I don't know that there's actually a garden. I think that maybe...
I've only ever... Because at one amusement park, I remember it was at the German restaurant. It was a beer garden.
And they have that at Kings Island too, right?
Yeah.
As they say that, they're like, hey, this is the beer.
I'm not sure if that's just the term for it or what.
Because there's beer garden and beer house. Haus.
Yes.
No, I got to say it. Haus. But that's what's happening, Nikki. But okay, let's say you're not up for all the beer, but
or donuts. That's a donut one.
Donut stops it's a 1K.
So
every 250 meters, you can have another donut?
You don't even need to train for that.
Well, I mean, some people might. You want to make sure you're ready. You want to be prepared.
Your stomach stretched out enough.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's a different kind of training regimen. You're going to be doing donut eating leading up to.
Now, how much is the cost for entry with that one? And do you get a medal at the end of the race?
Now I don't know the answer to the medal question.
That'd be awesome if it was shaped like a donut.
Let's see. Register here. Let's see if I can get a price tag on this. $30 if you register by Friday, $40 on the day of the event. Entry fee includes a custom-designed lard butt T-shirt. Oh, I didn't mention that. It's the 3rd annual lard butt 1K.
Every race has to have a thing with it.
It does. It does. You got to have a theme. So proceeds go towards there's a food bank in Seattle where at least some of the money from the race will be going to that. And I mean, you got to pay for those donuts somehow.
You do. It's not free. They don't grow in the beer garden.
Donuts don't grow on
and
the beer garden
do,
trees.
You're on something because that's not what you're actually saying.
You've had too many.
And you don't need to eat those.
Don't eat those.
That's not a donut.
That is not a donut, sir.
That's not beer also.
Okay, it's time to go home. It's time to go home.
You're like, that was the best race ever.
I want to run a race where they're handing out donuts on the course.
And it's just a 1K. You can do that.
I'm ready now.
Nikki and Obadiah. Obadiah and Nikki.
Love, hate, hate, love.
All right, everyone in, let's go!
It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
I can't help but feel my patriotic heart get stirred as I sit here, Nikki. Just deep inside, and I find myself wanting to celebrate America and all the things it means to me.
Yes, that's a great feeling to have.
And the reason
he's going over to the side of the table.
Because these little Debbies are over here that we still haven't eaten yet.
We have the red, white, and blueberry cream rolls.
Now, as you'll recall, we said on Friday that we'd have to eat these today.
Well, was it today or this week?
Oh, okay, now it's this week.
I have to sneeze, I don't know. Get them away!
All right, well.
I don't know what it is. Get it away.
I can't.
Get it away. What's the other one?
I'm allergic to America. I'm allergic to freedom. And I'm allergic to blueberry.
I think that's more closer to it.
Oh, my gosh.
So what's the other box? The
red, white, and blue Nutty Buddies.
The Nutty Buddies. But yeah, the cream rolls expired last week.
Sounds like your roommate. He's my nutty buddy. He's my little looter shooter. And,
these are all terms that we're teaching you.
He's nutty.
I met him at the beer garden.
Sure ain't crazy. But I love him.
Oh, well, do you want to today?
No, it's fine. Whatever. You don't want to, so I don't want to.
I don't want to start off so strong on a Monday for the show.
Aren't we supposed to? Is it Monday?
Best foot forward?
Are we supposed to set a precedent today?
I guess.
For the way that the rest of the week's going to go?
I just don't always like to just
enjoy
jump
your
out
life?
of the gate on this race of this week.
All right. Okay. So you want to ease in with maybe some...
No, it was like a Tuesday or a Wednesday
sea salted kale.
Okay.
That's probably for the best.
No, it's fine. I mean, the one thing... Its date was Friday, so we should do something.
We should do something, but you guys can't see it, but the mouse pointer on
my screen is just moving around,
moving itself around.
I'm not touching it.
I'll tell you who's touching it.
That's not me.
It's little Debbie.
Is it?
She's trying to send us a message.
No, okay, fine. We can do that.
No,
today.
I don't want to. I don't want to. We're waiting until tomorrow. I don't want them today. You couldn't make me eat those.
That trash.
That trash. I don't start my weeks like that. So take that, little Debbie.
Okay.
You and little looter shooter get in the corner till you're called for.
Oh. It's going to be a good week, guys. I can feel it.
I feel great.
It is.
Let's go get some more coffee.
You're hearing it for the first time, and it sounds terrible.
It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
How much do you hate your dog right now?
Well, not at all.
Not at all?
Not at all.
How much would you pay for me to come to your house and kill your dog?
Never.
No? Okay.
Are people doing
all right.
that?
Wait. All right. Just stay with me.
Yeah.
How much would you pay Delta or United Airlines to kill your dog?
Well,
hundreds, maybe thousands.
That is the price of your tickets.
So, why don't we just cut out the middleman, go ahead and throw a few hundred my way, and I'll just bring my pillow.
So now.
Well, I was trying to think of the least cruel way.
That still is very uncomfortable.
And it gives them
the tiny airplane pillow.
It gives them the whole Delta Airlines experience.
I saw that something had happened, but I didn't catch what it was.
Yep, we got another dog dead on a Delta Airlines flight. Alejandro.
Is the dog?
That's the dog's name.
Wow.
He's got a heck of a name, right?
That's quite a name.
He was put in the cargo hold of a Delta Airline flight from Phoenix to New Jersey. They had a layover in Detroit. So they say they checked on him in Detroit, and he was fine. he was fine. And then once they got to New Jersey, he was like...
They say it's rough for dogs in the cargo hold thing. But then it's also rough. I mean, it's just stressful for them.
Right.
So it could have just been actually not have been Delta's fault, really. But it could have just been that dog was not able to fly.
Or it could be completely Delta's fault and you should sue them right now.
It also could be that as well, but that's the risk you take when you fly with pets. I mean, I would never feel comfortable putting my dog on a plane unless it was in the actual passenger part.
Right. So,
but they're too big.
Well, and then you could comfort him and stuff.
Well, I'd have to lie and say he was a comfort animal because otherwise they're too big to fit underneath the seat.
You're his comfort animal.
Yeah.
So, well, here's the thought. Here's some details from the Department of Transportation. Last year, 506,994 different animals were flown domestically in the United States. 24 of them died.
Aww.
So statistically, that's not that bad.
Sure.
But then again, when it's you, all of a sudden...
you feel so bad.
Statistics, not so much.
Again, you just never know with your pets.
So here's what I like. Delta is just like, hey, yeah, I'll totally do an autopsy if you want to find out what killed him. So
now, this is where Delta needs to come in with some grace and some kindness because it's not all right. I mean, it was on their watch. So...
So the owner's family has hired a lawyer to work with the case.
Well, dogs are expensive too, so you gotta figure that out.
And he's a Pomeranian.
It's a little doggy. Oh, why didn't he go in the passenger part?
Well, because
it's a tiny dog. Put him under the seat.
I don't know.
Huh.
So, you know what? The more we peel back the layers,
I don't want to know.
The more it stinks.
Don't want to know. Just poor Alejandro. Was that it?
That's his name.
Oh, poor little doggy.
All he wanted was to go to Jersey. That's all he wanted. And you know what? He didn't make it.
The riot used to be 3 people.
Please tell me we're not discussing video games again.
The other guy didn't make it. It's the riot.
We could talk about box office results. How Solo made $29 million. Deadpool made 23. Adrift made 11. Which one was Adrift? Was that the people that are like, we're going on the most romantic trip ever. I can't feel my leg.
That's the one where they take a boat into a very big hurricane.
Yeah, that's the one. I don't want to see
Based on a true story.
Nah, I'm good.
Okay.
Somebody tell me the end because I saw another boat movie based on a true story where everybody died. And I was like, then this is all made up, actually, because you don't know what happened. But it's fine. No big deal. I thought maybe we'd slide over here, Nikki, instead of taking a look at what's big at the box office, what's big with the pirates? Arr!
Oh, yeah. What are the most pirated options right now?
The top...
Not that anybody's doing that.
Not me.
No one.
I'm not pirating anything.
No one is.
I'd much rather spend my money on a high-quality copy that I won't watch. It's perfect. Let's see. At number 5, Love, Simon. Number 4, Deadpool 2.
Already?
An HD telesync.
Sure.
You know what that means? That means they're in the theater with the camera. All right. Number 3, A Quiet Place.
Yes, okay.
Okay, number 2, Avengers Infinity War. Same thing. Guy with the camera in the movie theater. Probably with Korean subtitles or something. Not that Nikki and I know that that's what happens.
No, usually you'll see it's usually Russian.
That too.
It usually is.
They don't really care what happens there.
They're not checking at the theater.
Yeah. And then number 1, what do you think is the most pirated movie of last week?
Would it still be Black Panther, maybe?
Nope. Black Panther's all the way at number 6. Too many paying customers for the Panther.
It's out already, and sometimes once it comes out for a while, then it slows down. It's the desire to want something that one cannot have when it's not even out already.
Yeah. That's actually, if there's ever a time I'm tempted to pirate anything, it's like, I'm going to buy this movie, but
eventually,
I don't want to wait.
It wouldn't be Solo already, would it?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Think March. Think movies that came out in March.
Oh, wait. It's in there. It's not Avengers, and it's not that.
Avengers. It's not that.
So what else came out in March?
I'll tell you, Ready Player One is at number 8 right now.
So it's not that.
It's not that.
What else was there?
There was Red Sparrow. That's at number 9.
No, so it's not that.
Nope.
Yeah, the other
Vikander.
So what?
I think that was her name. Tomb Raider.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think even pirates cared. No offense to Tomb Raider.
I wouldn't even I wouldn't even steal that movie.
Of stealing that movie.
I wouldn't even steal it.
I just didn't think it did well. So sometimes there's certain movies that don't do well in theaters, but does well piracy-wise or like Blu-ray-wise.
That's an interesting question. I wonder how did that movie do in theaters?
Very poorly.
Are you sure?
Think so.
Let's take a look here. It made U.S. domestic gross $57 million, budget about $94 million. So,
and they put a lot of hype in that. They thought that was going to like start the Tomb Raider ball rolling, boulder rolling.
I like the hand motions. Thank you.
Do the rolling for you.
I get it.
To kind of like revive the franchise.
I went to see it, and I thought it was okay. So thanks, Movie Pass, for me.
If you didn't have it, would you have
But they
gone?
still, probably not.
But that's it.
Hey, but they still got money, even if it came through Movie Pass.
Sure.
I actually thought, like, that movie was okay. It wasn't amazing, but it was okay. Like, I'd say a solid B.
You sure? It sounds more like a C.
B minus.
B minus.
Solid B minus.
C plus?
Nope. No.
Okay,
I'm going with
B
B minus. I'm going with B minus.
Well, that is the most pirated movie right now.
And so, Nikki, you know, like a B minus, is that worth a steal?
I don't think so.
It's not.
I don't think so.
Because Nikki would rather pay full price on iTunes.
No, I'll just not even.
Just not even.
I'll wait for it to maybe be a 99-cent rental or streaming somewhere.
Yeah.
I can wait out.
You can wait.
Wait it out. I'll win on that one.
You know what, Nikki? I appreciate that. You're a shining example to all of us.
It's like if you're just patient, it'll pop up somewhere.
That is very true. Eventually, it's going to show up somewhere that you're already paying for it.
Your morning, but without yelling, laughing, or music.
Don't deprive me of that.
We wouldn't dream of it. It's The Riot on Radio U.
Nikki, you know how you love looking at pictures and being like, oh, that's so gross.
I just heard him exclaim out loud, so did you find something?
Oh, my gosh. Ivan Krasuki, 36 years old. He's a Russian paraglider, and he ran into a tree. He has a tree sticking out of his body.
That's the tree thing. Oh, it's in his shoulder. That is quite.
Do you know how much,
something. He was impaled with the tree.
You know how much it hurts when, like, your shoulder
If it would
hurts?
just bump you,
It's
let
like,
alone go through
ow,
you.
Gosh.
And he seems tough.
Tougher than me?
He seems way tough.
He's just like, yeah, you know how it is. Sometimes you paraglide, sometimes you run into a tree. You know what's wrong with my life? Here's what I think. When I was in sixth grade, I broke my arm skateboarding, and I had to have pins put in my arm. It was this whole thing, getting the pins pulled out, like they literally stuck out of my arm, so they grabbed some pliers and they just pulled them out. One of the most excruciatingly painful experience, well, probably the most painful experience of my life. And that happened to be in sixth grade. So, like, when I had friends that were like, hey, let's go hang gliding or let's go parachuting, I was like, you know what? I've already had reconstructive surgery and I'm good. Like, I'm too afraid of what can happen. Like, what if, we run into a tree and I have this guy, it's not even a stick.
It's a log.
He has like a branch,
yes,
a log.
It is that
sticking through his shoulder.
Thick enough that it's in his shoulder.
How much pain medicine is he on right there? Because he just looks at the doctor.
He's high on like the adrenaline of it, I think. And they said that he got a lot of attention and he took a lot of pictures. So I think you're high on that. Then comes the next day once they remove it.
Oh, he's going to be sore tomorrow for sure.
That's when you're going to feel it.
He's going to be sore
like
tomorrow.
Arm day.
Well, you know what? When I had that nose surgery, I have surgery all the time. It's just what I do. The day I had surgery, I felt amazing. I just felt so good. But it was the second day in the afternoon when all of a sudden things weren't so great.
It's quieter and it's just you and your feelings and your arm pain. They said, he obviously wanted it taken out like right away when he came there, but they were worried he could bleed to death or there'd be other complications. So they had to take their time with it and make sure he'd be fine.
Look at all these, I don't know, like emergency room ladies all gathered around him, and he's just like, hey, ladies.
He looks like one of the brothers from Red. In the last picture.
What? That's a good call.
He's bigger than him. He looks just taller and overall just bigger, but his face, I'm like, who does he look like? He looks like one of the guys in Red.
He does. That's a good call.
It's the eyes and the stare.
He's just like, yeah,
not the
ladies.
log, not the branch in his arm. That doesn't remind me at all like him.
I'm daring. I'm good looking.
Dashing.
I got a log sticking out of my arm. So that means I could be there for you because I'm going to have to take a break.
I will take this branch.
What are you guys doing later?
Oh, that is a day, like that changes your plans. You've got a branch in you.
Well, you know what? The good news on that is he's probably getting a few days off.
More than that, maybe. More than that.
Yeah.
If you were offended or disgusted by anything Obadiah said this morning,
If you weren't so dumb, I might be offended.
you must be new. You'll get used to it. The Riot on Radio U.
Over the weekend, for the first time since 1889, a legal, sanctioned bare-knuckle boxing event took place.
I saw the pictures of that, but I wasn't sure the setup. Basically, there's no rules or something?
Well, it's not, Thunderdome in there, but they're not
It's like
wearing...
Fight Club, but yet you can talk about it.
Basically that.
Yeah.
Like, they're just not wearing boxing gloves. And so, or
like protective stuff?
no protective headgear. This is like a street fight. Two people go in and bludgeon each other until someone's knocked out or gives up.
Well, there's a lot
other.
of blood on the pictures that I saw.
So much blood. You know what? It doesn't appeal to me. You can get me to watch MMA. You can get me to watch boxing. Those are things that also don't really appeal to me, but I can see the appeal. And so, like if a friend's getting a pay-per-view or some people are getting together, it's like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah, but I think they think that they want a realness to the fight, like more people are going to want that.
Right.
Compared to if you see something that's obviously set up or you're not too sure, there's too much money involved. You want it to be an actual fight.
So it happened in Wyoming. And it was
Which means they have the least amount of laws with that, which is why the fight was there.
Nikki is probably right about that.
Who else would have the fight in Wyoming? I mean, that's the reason.
So it ended up at a hockey rink. They say that normally hosts birthday parties and skating lessons.
Nice.
It was in Cheyenne, and it was a pay-per-view event as well. 10 fights that took place. And yes, the pictures of it are just like,
did they give any numbers? Like, did it do what they wanted?
They say thousands watched.
Yeah, I thought it would be more, but that's fine.
If they're saying thousands, that means less than 10,000.
That's exactly what they're saying.
Is what that means, but I guess you have to ask yourself, was that enough?
Sure.
Was that enough for them to do it again? And I'm going to take a stab and say probably. A couple of the fights ended in the fastest knockout of the night was 18 seconds. First punch just knocked the guy right out.
Aww.
Boom. That'd be me. I'd be like, you know what, Uncle? I'm tapping out.
You've got that word to get you out there.
I still get paid, right? I still get paid.
Well, that's the question, too. How much are they getting paid? They make money by the pay-per-view, but then also, I assume, through sponsorship. And it might have been a little harder to find some larger sponsors if it's a fight that way.
This guy in particular, Shoemaker is his name. He was an amateur boxer for years, so he's excited about the chance to try something new. He said when he was a kid, he was in plenty of illegal bare-knuckle fights.
Now they're trying to make it legal.
He said he grew up in an area that was really rough, and something he said has caught my ear. He said that the area I grew up in, it was kind of rough, but people were gentlemen about it too. You can fight, you get up, you're done, you shake hands, you go get a beer.
What's the term, a clean fight?
That is exactly my great uncle. He fought in World War II, and he had told me many times how, like, when he was younger, especially when he came back from the war, like he said, this is him, but like, you Saturday night, go to the bar, get in a fight. When you're done, you're done. No big deal.
That was just what you did.
See the guy at work on Monday or see him out in the community, and it was nobody cared.
So
it was no big deal.
Is that like blowing off steam or something?
I guess.
I know there wasn't as much to do.
My thing is, like, if Nikki and I got in a fist fight, there would be hurt feelings, guys.
Yeah, we wouldn't just be able to come back the next day and be like, okay.
Like, no big deal. Nice shiner. Good one. Good one. Like, no, it would be a huge deal. And I keep hearing from, I feel like this is almost a thing of the past, but the idea of like, yeah, we'd fight and then it was over. We'd just hang out.
Well, now we have more hurt feelings.
I guess so. Dude, these
and
fights
we don't bury them. They're on the surface, so.
Yeah, that's right.
They're very noticeable.
These fights look brutal. It wasn't just guys either. Like, there was a couple of female fights as well, and they just, dude, I'm out. I don't have what it takes to watch this or participate in it.
Yeah, but we could have been the announcer.
Now that we could have done.
I could have been ding, 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 ring the bell.
You guys are all animals. Why are you paying for this? This is gross.
They're not bringing us to do that.
It's the worst of the riot, because calling it the best of the riot would be a lie. Radio U.
Nikki, I don't want you to move into the city.
Okay.
Because I feel like if we lost you to a major metropolitan center, this is the fate that awaits you.
I love a good New York City.
I want you to get to the goat farm and stay there.
Why? I feel like that over time, I would be fine with urban farming.
Nope.
But I can't handle farm stuff.
Here's what's going to happen to you. This is where you're headed. There's a woman whose name is being withheld because she's a victim.
Of what?
She was on the CTA platform on Friday. This is in Chicago. She's going to get the train. When she looked over and there was a man just standing on the platform, what do you think he was doing?
Did he have a goat?
No, he was peeing.
Oh, yeah. I've seen
You're waiting
that.
for the train. The guy's just standing there peeing.
If you've never seen...
The city is a toilet.
It is. I've mentioned before my bathroom viewing experiences.
Yeah.
Have all been San Francisco. I mean, that is like...
Oh, don't forget Nashville.
Oh, yeah, Nashville. Oh, that was just number one. The other one, that was San Francisco.
San Francisco, they're just like whatever,
The
anywhere, all the time.
streets are kind of like a toilet in some areas. But yeah, just, you're like, what are you doing? It never could do that.
So this lady, who, again, is not named because she's a victim, it hasn't even happened yet. See? Like, seeing the man peeing, they don't even consider that you're a victim. They're just like, yeah, welcome to Chicago.
Life, that's fine.
That's the way it is. So she said to him, can you just find a bathroom? And he began swearing at her. So she pulled out her phone and took his picture.
To shame him.
Yes. And then he said, I'll kill you. And she was like, whatever. And then she showed him a bird. And then she walked off.
A finger, you mean? I was like, what's in her purse?
She carries a bird with her?
Is that a gun? I don't know.
She had a little present in her pocket. She had to reach in and get it.
Gotcha.
Show it to him.
Unwind that.
And she walked off, and she said then she felt a strong blow on the back of her head,
Oh,
and
he
she
hit her?
fell off the platform onto the tracks.
Oh, that's dangerous.
She said the first thing she did was roll over to see if there was a train coming. There wasn't. Two guys jumped down, picked her up, put her back on the platform.
For every one bad person, there
were two.
There's good to help.
And she ended up at the hospital. She needed stitches. And
Sometimes you feel like you can't confront somebody, even if they're like, I would have been afraid he would have peed on her. Like, that's what I thought you were going to tell me.
He's like, hit me in the head, throw me on the
But
tracks,
don't you dare.
but don't pee on me.
Don't you dare do that.
That's a fair concern.
Yeah,
by the way.
You just have to be quiet. You don't want someone to do that.
This is why you shouldn't be in the city, because you can't be quiet, Nikki.
But I can't go to the farm. What's going to happen at the farm? It's all the animals peeing everywhere.
Right, but that's okay, because they're
no,
animals.
then I have to clean it up. I can't handle a farm.
I don't think so.
I wear flip-flops. Do you understand? It's dangerous enough in the city because then I'm walking through what the guy just did. I can't do farming,
We're going to get you some steel-toed.
Some wellies? I can't.
You're wearing steel-toed boots now.
I can't.
You're going to be walking around. It's not going to be a big deal.
Like, if you ever see me in overalls, or not fashionable ones, but just work ones, I can't be a farmer.
You can.
I don't want to be a farmer.
I believe in you.
I don't want to.
Nikki, it's not about what you want. It's about what's
is.
best.
I thought that's
it's
what our
about
life is.
What
What's
is best for
me.
you.
Please stop yelling farming
you can't
stuff at
move
me.
to the city. They're going to pee on you, Nikki.
I'm already there.
The Riot. Turn it down.
And rip the knob off.
Radio U.
Oh my gosh, Nikki. Behold the future. A path is laid out clearly before us.
Are we going to talk about Christmas?
We are. I never thought we'd find ourselves in this position, but we need to talk about Mariah Carey. Apparently, she did an interview over the weekend. She's going to do a Christmas tour, and none of that matters. But here's the part that matters. She keeps her Christmas tree up.
All year?
All year.
Where at?
I don't know.
I mean, that's the difference.
I mean, like, she got a bunch of money, so she probably has, like, a room where she's got it or whatever, but...
See, that's the thing. If you could have it tucked in a room where it wasn't your main, like, living space, yeah, why not keep it up?
Nikki, we could have a room. I want you to think about this, all right?
Christmas room?
Okay, where you walk in, and for the time that you spend in there, it's Christmas.
All the time? Just
All the
whenever you
time.
need a little hit of Christmas?
You walk. I love the way you think about it, okay? Because how many times have I said I need Christmas purer and harder?
Yeah.
All right? I need, like, more Christmas. I'm grinding up ornaments and snorting them kind of Christmas, right? So.
I would have said Christmas cookies, but whatever.
All right. It's fine if that's what you need. So you go in that room, you hit a switch.
Turn it on.
The lights come on. Christmas in that room. Also, I feel like that room has to be cold, so window air conditioner.
Ooh, very good.
So it's cool in there because, at Christmas, we can't have it hot because we're going to start a fire. It's not very energy efficient, but whatever.
But you have the money to burn.
That's right, because we have a Christmas room now.
Because you have a Christmas room. It also feels like if you're super rich or like very old. You just have the room.
All right, wait.
With your quilts.
Wait. All right. Since we're super rich and we're doing what we want, you have a staff member that you pay, and it's their job to keep the Christmas room stocked with presents.
Yes!
So when you go in, anytime you go in, there's new presents, and you don't know what's going to be in there.
That feels unhealthy.
It's so insanely unhealthy.
And just mentally, that does not feel like something that's the best for us.
Well, I cannot remember who it was, but they went to some guy's house. And I think he was a fashion designer. Maybe not. I can't remember why I saw this, but they were going through this guy's house, and he had this huge space in his house that basically looked like a department store. Think like Macy's or wherever.
Like a storage for all the random stuff?
Well, and in that space, he had his clothes all laid out. And I mean, this guy's rich. He had tons and tons of clothes. And he said when he was a kid, he would go through the store and they could never afford to buy any clothes. And so he just loved going in there and taking whatever clothes he wanted and wearing them. So,
you could do that. You love Christmas.
We love Christmas.
But would it change then when actual Christmas came around? Or are we willing to risk it?
You'd have to be careful because I mean...
and this is private, by the way. We wouldn't be...
nobody knows about it.
No one would be knowing about this room.
It would be like we would be dead, and then people would finally come into our house and be like,
I never knew.
Oh, my gosh, they had a Christmas room. Oh, my gosh.
And then
they were so messed up. They were so messed up. Why didn't they go to therapy? They could have lived longer.
I don't want to say any more about it. Don't even...
Okay.
Oh, well, it's an idea.
Dad had a window air conditioner in here all the time. No wonder the electric bill was so high.
I wonder there's no money left and they got to sell all that stuff.
That's right. Your kids think it's a big payoff, and the grandkids and their kids, and they're all like, we're going to get his money. And then they find out.
He leaves his money to the room. To make sure it stays on.
This room will be the same for 100 years.
And you can't sell the house until this time has passed. All right, that's just what we're envisioning, and that's not it.
You know what?
We take our tree down and we put it back up.
The more we talk about it, the more it feels like a sickness. But you know what? I could use a couple days.
Feel a little cold in here, isn't it?
Chilly. A little chilly.
Actually, it is. I turned the air down when I got in here this morning.
So, you know what? The only thing that's missing is a tree.
And some snow. But I'll cut up some paper and just throw it in the air.
How about some House of Heroes? A little All I Want for Christmas Is You?
No, that sounds nice, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it?
But we'll wait.
But you know what, Nikki? Let's just wait until July, when it's really Christmas time.
This was the worst of the riot, and we'd like to congratulate you on having the stomach to stick around to the very end. The riot exists because Radio U exists, and Radio U only exists because of your support. Find out more and give now at RadioU.com/donate.
Do you know what it's like to walk around feeling bad about yourself? I do.